So like in 2 weeks, I cash collected 26K. Selling something that I actually believe in and I actually like know I can help people with and that I've actually accomplished is like so easy for me.
I gotta I gotta say, how much did you spend on ads?
You just have to follow the structure. Like I legit just followed the DM script. Just the aesthetic alone gives you the authority, even though like you don't have like the biggest account.
Yo, what's up, Julian? Super excited to have you here, bro.
What
Welcome to
up?
the YouTube channel. Dude, we're about to meet up in Arizona. It's gonna be fun. I think next month in about 30 days. But dude, you've had a crazy journey from agency to launching a coaching program and scaling it. Dude, you honestly might be like one of the quickest clients that have gone from like zero to I think like 20 or 30K a month. So it's gonna be fun to talk about that story. But dude, tell me a little bit about kind of just like you, where you're from, kind of like your background from coming from the agency.
Cool. So I'm from Sacramento, California. I wanted to have an agency, like, well, social media agency. We'll get into the coaching side, but
Yeah.
since like Ty Lopez got into it when he was like promoting his course,
Yeah.
and I got like a bootleg version of it, but it was like because it was free, I didn't go through it, right? I just had all these files and stuff. It wasn't free, and then I tried Amazon FBA, and I ran out of money on that because I had about like 1,000 cell phones to sell, and then I bought a bunch of reviews, and then they updated something, so all the reviews got deleted. So I was like screwed because I ran out of money.
Mm.
I was an Uber driver when it was new, Postmates driver when it was new. So I've been like hustling for a long time, and then I just got into like videography because that's the skill I always had, and I just like freelance until I started working with this like a real estate investor. He did flips and stuff. So that was cool. And then I started working with him like as like a 9 to 5. I had him like hire me, and that was like my only 9 to 5 job I've had my entire life. And then from there, I've just been like using like my marketing skills because I started a bunch of businesses like blogs and stuff. I used to have an Instagram page where I would sell shout outs. So I've developed all these skills, and then it came to a point where okay, I had a bunch of real estate skills and a bunch of social media skills, and I brought them both together, and that's how I started my content agency. And with that, because before that I was shooting like real estate listings and real estate photos, and in that industry it's super competitive because a lot of guys already have all the market share. So when I found this new method, when I stumbled upon it, I just went all in. So I stopped doing listings completely. I just turned into like a content agency just for
Yeah.
realtors.
Yeah.
And within our first week, we had 10K in contract because we just reached out to our current database. And then from there, we did like zero marketing, all word of mouth. And then like 9 months later, we were like pushing 30K a month. All during that time, though, I was thinking about, okay, this is unsustainable. I don't want to do this long term. I want to get into like coaching and consulting. So I was like on the fence, like in and out for like 6 months. And then I found your video. And the first one that
Stumbled across the ad or what?
yeah, but the first one that resonated with me was you talking about having a content agency because I worked with other coaches before and I thought I could relate to them, but I couldn't, right? But with that, I was like, cool, this guy at least is in the same industry as me, right? Same struggle. So at that point, I knew, okay, it was the perfect time to like jump into that. And then it took me a while to figure out my messaging, my offer, right? Like that was one of my first conversations. I changed and pivoted a bunch, right?
Yeah.
I didn't contemplate starting a new page from scratch, which I'm glad I didn't do. I just found out a way to make it work.
Yeah.
And then from there, with all my like everything just come together, right? So
Yeah.
when I launched, the messaging was on point. Plus, I had the experience of creating thousands of videos for my clients. So when it came to like the content creation part, that was like seamless for me as far as like hooks, the actual creative part, getting the aesthetics together. So it just seems like everything just like worked together.
Yeah, bro. Isn't it funny how like the Ty Lopez stuff? I think I got like in the beginning, I got some free courses and stuff, but you just don't take action if you don't pay for it.
Exactly.
If you get access to a free course, that's why YouTube is great. Like if you have a certain problem, you search it up on YouTube and you get your problem solved. But if you don't, have some sort of like accountability, feedback from somebody else on what you're doing, that's why coaching is kind of like invaluable, and that's why we both do it.
Even
Okay.
even just paid courses aren't as valuable because I have a bunch of courses I paid for and it felt good when I bought it. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna get all this information. But then I probably went through it one day, and then it was just too much information. I didn't go back through it, so I just wasted money.
Yeah.
No one was
That's
there.
why I think, yeah, I think coaching is like, it's just one of the careers where your income and your impact are so directly correlated. You can, if you give someone a course, that all that information in that course might be, over, it might be too late. It might be too old information within like 6 months to a year. Whereas in coaching, you can teach principles, you can teach like foundational skills, and then also you can teach like, hey, what's happening now? Like what ad creatives are working now? What messaging is working now? Which is why I think coaching is super valuable. But anyways, dude, so agency launched the coaching offer. How long ago did you launch the coaching offer?
So I launched it, I'd say. So I did like a pre-launch, right? Which was like a filler, seeing what would resonate. And that's when I switched my messaging because I was reaching the wrong type of people, right? So I relaunched. So I've only been coaching for about a month and a week now. So this is like going on the first. Yeah, so this is like last week was like the first week of the month. So this is going on the second week of the month. So like a month and 2 weeks. And
Okay. It's like 6 weeks in.
Yep. And so far, so good. My biggest fear was like getting results for clients. And
Yeah.
I think out of the first month, like the first 10, it's like 80% success of people
Which
who
is awesome.
actually
Yeah.
got clients, right? The only people who haven't put in the work or they've been traveling and
Yeah.
stuff. So.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for any coach is like, it doesn't matter how good the information is, which is also why courses aren't very good, is because you need to actually go and get your clients results, right? There needs to be accountability. The investment into the program needs to hurt enough to the point where it forces you to take action. So anyways, dude, awesome. So you launched 6 weeks ago, and then you said first week you were trying to figure out messaging. You were going back and forth. Do I coach, real estate investors because that's who my agency worked with, or do I coach videographers because that's the business that I actually built? And I think I told you like, hey, dude, coach what you coach from experience, coach yourself 6 months to a year ago, and then coach them to get to where you're at now.
Yep.
And I think you listened, and then you went all in on coaching real estate videographers specifically, which I think was also a really important move, was not just coaching any videographer, but coaching real estate videographers specifically. And because you can speak to those people really, really well, because that's exactly what you did. And then you're helping them all launch, sort of like short form offers, or helping them kind of add like that part of their service. Now you're getting client results. So week 1, you're figuring things out. By week 2, you signed your first client. Week 1, week 2.
So when I got the messaging done, so I don't count the pre part, like when I was figuring out if I was gonna coach realtors or not. I don't count that part. Like once I get my messaging down, I count that. So I'd say, yeah, week 2, because week 1, I was had maybe like 4 sales calls, right? 4 or 5, and I was still like insecure about the price, right? I was like, are people gonna pay this? I was like, maybe I should lower it. And then my first call, I lowered it, and then I was like, fuck, why did I do that? So I was like, what? I'm just gonna stick to the price we talked about originally, right? So I raised it back, and then those first people I talked to, they were good because they helped me get the kinks out, right? They helped me get the kinks out, and they helped me have better preparation for the people ahead, just to get out like all my sales strategy. But it turns out that I'd say 3 out of those 5 came back around later. So my first
3 of the 5 people that you took the calls with.
So my first 2 calls that I had ended up signing with me like weeks and months later. And then my first close, which I thought I closed, and then he was like, no, give me like a few weeks. But I was like so happy I thought I closed, but he like reneged, right? So I sent the contract, sent the agreement, he got a yes, and then he was like, I'm not sure, I need time, right? So that was like, I was like, man, this week sucks, right? Because like no one followed through. But then they all came back except for like one guy, except for 2 guys, which they're brokies, so I don't want those.
So then from the day of launch to what your first client, how long did that take?
I'd say 2 weeks.
Sweet, dude. So 2 weeks, and does that include like kind of like trying to figure things out or not really?
No, if it was that, it'd be longer because you've
Yeah.
been working with me for longer than like a month, right? So
Yeah. Sweet. And then so the last 30 days, I guess, have been like your biggest like 30-day period for the coaching business. And you said, I can't remember, I think you told me the wrong number or something, but it was like somewhere between 20 and 30, right? That cash collected.
yeah, so that was really in 2 weeks. So like in 2 weeks, I cash collected 26K and contracted was like 50, like over 50K.
So in
So
2 weeks you did 26K. So if you didn't go on a cruise ship vacation after that, then you would have probably done 50K that month, huh?
yeah, and kept that momentum too, because a lot of people did like the prepaid option. So it was like actual like 4K prepaid, right? Versus
Yeah.
like what was it like 315, and now my price is like up to 7K. So
Yeah.
things are better now. I mean
That's
higher.
killer.
But yeah, I was like, because when people are willing to pay prepaid, that means you kind of can charge more. Because that same person could probably pay the weekly instead.
Yep. They could probably pay more than we, yeah. So, okay. So the last 2 weeks, maybe not the last 2 weeks, but a week ago, the last 2 weeks was 26K cash collected. Congrats. That's killer.
Thank you. This week I closed 2. So
This
I
week?
have a pretty good, yeah, I have a pretty good close rate because I've been doing sales. Like my first job out of high school was selling Cutco knives, which I don't know if you know that, but it's like,
Yeah, I do know.
yeah. And I was very like introverted, which I still am, but I was like very shy. So it helped me get out of my shell, and it helped me like not take no for an answer. Like you take no's, but like no's are okay. You get through the no, so you get to a yes, right? So
Yep.
Cutco, and then I did door-to-door sales too, selling alarms, which was like the hardest job ever. And
Oh,
like
yeah, I bet.
completely sucked at it, but it got me out of my comfort zone. Like walking up to strangers' houses, they have dogs and stuff, and it's like the sign says there's like a gun that says "Beware of the owner," like all this
Yeah.
stuff into it. You got to knock, and they're like, "What the hell do you want?" It's like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
noticed you don't have an alarm system." So selling something that I actually believe in and I actually like know I can help people with and that I've actually accomplished is like so easy for me.
Yeah, dude. What do you think is sort of next for you? Like you just started the coaching program. You're already doing some, you're going to probably do 30, 40K a month pretty soon, consistently. What's kind of like your goal? Like what's the next step for you moving forward? I know obviously you and I are going to work on it together, but what's like next big goal?
Yeah, so I definitely want to I want to push myself. So I want to, let's say there's like, is it 4 more months in the year? Was it October, November, December, October? Okay, so going on like 3.5 months.
Yeah, there's like 100 days left in the year, I think.
Yeah, I want to push to get past 50K a month. I want to max out the coaching part, right? The one-on-one coaching. And then I want to release a lower ticket like course, right? That
Well,
and
we'll chat about it. I think there's a better way to do it, but we'll chat about what it looks like.
no,
But
but
yeah.
a lower ticket course and have like the community aspect, just have like weekly group calls and just have like events, like because I want to be like, there's this guy, his Instagram's called like Neil Holmes. He's a loan officer.
Yeah.
And he's one of the like most popular loan officers in the country right now. And he built this really cool community of like realtors and loan officers. Like I went to Vegas like a couple weeks after I joined you, and it was for this real estate event, and it was like his event, and he had like Ed Milet speaking, he had all these really big guys speaking.
Yeah.
And that's when I decided, okay, I want to have this type of community for videographers. So
Yeah, dude.
I'm striving for to have like a huge community. Right now, the focus is real estate videographers, but at some point I do want to like broaden it so I can help like more people. But
Yeah.
first I want to stay niche because that's what I know best.
Yeah, dude. I think one of my favorite parts of our offer, like my offer, is like the in-person thing. Like there's 3 in-person collectives a year. You're coming to the one in Arizona next month. There's like 15, 20 people coming out and staying at a dope Airbnb. And like being able to have like not just the community on Slack or online, but also like being in person with people, I think is like invaluable. Like I signed up a guy this morning and he was like, the reason I signed up is because I saw those in-person events. And so I think it's a huge aspect that not only like makes me happy and will make you like, like, it's exciting to be able to have like to host an event and see the people that are all following on social media, like they're in front of you, like in person. I think it's cool. So I think it's a dope goal, dude. So 50K a month before the year end is kind of the goal. You want to see on that Stripe dashboard, you click 4W last 4 weeks. You want to see that 50K pop up?
Because it's just like math at this point. So like I'm hired a setter. So
hold up. Before we go, I know people are going to comment. Grayson, stop interrupting him. But I gotta say, how much did you spend on ads? Because I think this part's even discussed. Like this part's gross. It's like, how much did you spend on ads to collect 26K?
So when I got there, I probably spent so let's say probably less than 1,000 at that point on ads.
I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to do the math.
Because when I first launched, so I had like a bunch of creatives. I think you said to do like 7, but I did like 10, right? 10 different reels, all ads. Yeah. I boosted each one, and then I just monitored which ones performed the best. And then I looked at like, okay, the cost per click, because usually that's an indicator of which one gets the best clicks, right? With like, if it's lower, if it costs less, that means it's getting people's attention. And then since my messaging was on point, I just stopped all the other ads and just let 2 ads run, right? And yeah, so it's like $20 a day combination. So it's like 10 and 10, $20 a day. I've been running it. And so I know once my setter gets good and once I increase my ad spend, like it's a numbers game at that point.
We're putting you at $100 a day next week. Yeah. If you 5x your, like Hormozy says, if you 5x your leads, you'd probably 5x your business. So
yeah, it's really crazy to think, because I launched my coaching business simultaneously with the agency, and the goal was not to shut down the agency completely yet. It was always the goal, but I didn't really think to do it so quickly, because I was just like, okay, let me build my coaching business up while my agency is going, so I can still, make money. Yeah. But as soon as I launched it, bro, it just like took off. And I was also going through like a fruit cleanse. I told you about that, all fruit. So I was just like in a state of like focus and had this energy. I was like, I just have to win. And then I just looked back. I was like, oh shit, like it's been working. And then I was like, screw the agency. It's like,
I mean, you collected as much cash in your coaching business in the last 2 weeks as you did in your agency in a month. And it's like a lot less work. It's like literally probably 1/10 of the work, right?
Exactly. And they appreciate me so much more. They're like, I get these really like passionate testimonials like, wow, I saw the ad and I jumped in and then I'm already seeing results and I can't thank Julian enough. I'm like, that just like feels good. Right. And then, like, we have the community aspect. Everyone's in the group chat, talking, sharing information. It just feels really good. And I can do it all from this laptop. Right. I don't have to be out. Like, this is my last month shooting with my agency clients.
Yep.
So that just feels really good.
That's awesome, bro. But it's so next step, 50K a month. Then you have this goal of building a community, something like that loan officer guy, huge in-person stuff. That's a dope goal, dude. And we got the Arizona event coming up soon. That's gonna be fun to meet you in person and hoop it up a little bit, maybe. I don't know if you're a hooper or not, but
I hooped in high school, and right now I'm so weak, so I gotta probably hit the gym before I show up. I don't want to look stupid, especially I don't know how many black guys are gonna be there, but I gotta represent,
I think we got a couple, but it'll be fine.
Somebody's like, they're gonna assume I'm good, so I gotta at least like jumper on me, or not.
Yeah. You can't show up not hooping. Yeah. Anyways, dude, super glad to have you on, bro. Hopefully we do this again once you cross 50K a month. That'll be fun. Dude, anything else you wanna leave the audience with? Anything you want to tell them about if they're thinking about launching a coaching program, if they're, whatever?
Yeah, so just make sure that when you launch, number one, just have your messaging down, right? Like, make sure that you're pulling from your actual experience. If you have to have real experience. Like, you can't just jump in with no experience and think you're gonna get results. Like, my messaging works because I'm talking from experience, right?
Yep.
So that's how you build authority. You can't really fake it. The people who fake it don't last too long. And two, you just have to follow the structure. Like, I legit just followed the DM script, right?
Yep.
Even though you said you changed it and made pivots, whatever, I still use the old DM script. And I've
Yep.
obviously, you have to be human, so you have to know how to pivot, right? You need to know how to answer people's questions, how to actually have a conversation, but just like follow the script. And the last thing is I think aesthetic matters too, like how you're perceived online. So one thing that I got from you is like your thumbnails are cool. It's like just the aesthetic alone gives you the authority, even though like you don't have like the biggest account, but you
Yeah.
look like someone who knows what they're talking about. So that's one thing I do. I tell all my students to do is like get your account good, aesthetic, get verified. Because all those things, it's all about perception, all about perception. So
Oh yeah.
you're perceived a certain way, it's easier for people to trust you and believe in what you're doing.
Yeah. Quality of your content, quality of your product. Those
Yep.
should be, even if you have the best product in the world, if you wrap it in a bunch of shit, then no one's gonna buy it. So the
Exactly.
the quality of your content should reflect the quality of your product. If you don't have a good coaching program, then you probably won't feel good about marketing crap out of it. But anyways, dude, I'm glad to have you as a client. I'm excited to meet you in AZ. Also excited to see what we do moving forward. But thanks for hopping on, dude.
Oh yeah, bro.